don't think you and your election administration colleagues ever get enough credit, even though you're the ones who actually make our elections happen. I mean, I know election administrators work extraordinarily hard to make sure that there are no mistakes. How long have you served as the clerk auditor of Weber County?
I was elected in 2010, so just over 10 years now.
Okay, so how many elections have you administered in your career?
Probably about 25 elections, but I also count elections, presidential elections, as like 4, the equivalent of 4. So if that's the case, that's going to be probably like 35.
That'd be 172 then, right?
That's right.
I see in your written testimony that you explain America's constitutionally decentralized election infrastructure recognizes that policy that may be best suited for one state may not be best suited for others. So I think it's fair to say the one-size-fits-all system mandated by H.R. 1 would cause grave concern in a lot of areas, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And you'd agree that these policies, as an election administrator, shouldn't be coming out of Washington?
No, I love the policies that we have in Utah. They work very well for citizens in Utah. They were developed by citizens in the state legislature in Utah. They serve us well, and sometimes we tweak them and we change them and make them better. But I wouldn't dare presume that Rhode Island or Maine or any other state needs to have the same laws as us.
Well, you would agree that the needs of voters in Weber County are, let me just mention this, they're different than those in Alaska's North Slope borough, right?
Absolutely. Weber County is a fairly small election or small jurisdiction geographically with about 265,000 residents. We do things differently and have different needs than residents in rural, large geographic areas.
Well, and that despite the attractiveness of any given policy, it's important that we keep election administration decisions at the state level to give local officials closest to the people the flexibility to serve the needs. I think we agree on that, right?
I totally agree. Election officials across the country share lots of information, best practices, but in the end, we say, that's a great idea. Let me see if it works here because we have some unique circumstances and challenges that we have to overcome.
Well, I know Utah uses a secured vote by mail system, which requires voter identification during the registration process to ensure election integrity. Thanks to the hard work of you and your local officials, that happens. Utah has made these other specific policy decisions for the benefit of its citizens and election integrity. H.R. 1 would include many of those, imposing a one-size-fits-all approach to election administration and really striking at the heart of election safeguards that maintain voter confidence in our system. Would you agree with that, do you agree with that, Mr. Hatch?
Yes, I would. And one example is voting by mail. If we had to mail our ballots out 45 days before election, we actually tried getting closer to that date a couple of years ago, and it was actually problematic. And so we moved that back down so it was mailed just 3 to 4 weeks before the election. So yes, your statement's correct.
All right. With all your experience in elections administration, do you think it's even possible to achieve a workable standard requirement that no voter waits in line at an early vote center for more than 30 minutes? What would it take to comply with that requirement?
It would take gobs of money. It's very difficult to get close to knowing how many people are going to show up because each election is different and each jurisdiction is different. And planning for that, we have some very sophisticated tools, but we still get surprised sometimes. And so the way we would accomplish that is by throwing much more additional resources.
Okay, well, we got a $2 trillion package we're supposed to vote on this week, and it doesn't have a dime for this. So that would be something in addition. We like local control. Might be a good policy idea. 20 to 25 minutes in my rural county. It's a lot smaller than Weber County to cast my vote early and on this past election cycle because people were interested in voting and they had a chance to go.